Guys, welcome back to G-Tech Motorworks. As you can see, we've got a lot of parts here. We've got some exciting new videos coming for you. This will be a series. It's on our new track car, the BMW 123D twin turbo. So we're just going to go ahead and talk a little bit about what we're doing, the modifications we're doing. Obviously you can see there's lots of parts here. So moving forward, guys, one of the reasons I'm actually doing this, we've just taken up obviously track days as a little bit of a new hobby. The business is now established, so me and the team, we're sort of, you know, just taking days out and obviously doing these track days. It was actually urged by a good friend of mine, Fowler. Here he is. Come across, mate. This is Andy. Obviously I know him as Fowler. He used to work with me at BMW a very long time ago. So obviously what happened was, guys, we went to Cadwell Park in April and I took my Honda Civic EK9 Type R. There it is. Had a great day, didn't we, Fowler? It was awesome. Yeah. Obviously prior to that, Andy rang me, Fowler rang me, and he says, oh, you know, we've got a track day at Cadwell Park and my BMW 123D, can you tune it for us just for a bit more power, because obviously we do tuning here. So this 123D came here and it was just like, you know, stripped out, suspension and everything. And I was like, why are you taking this on the track? And he was like, mate, you want to see it on the track? It's awesome. So obviously I tuned it. I think we got around 285 horsepower out of it. We could actually get more, but obviously he wanted a reliable power source. So we went anyway. He talked me into coming Cadwell Park, took the EK9, and I'll let you tell the rest. What happened that day, Father?
Yeah, kind of. Your EK9 broke, so reliable Jap car broke, but yeah, I think we blew empty away with how quick the 1 Series was, and yeah, bang for buck. It's a brilliant little car. Surprises quite a few people, and obviously it surprised Imti so much he wants to build one himself. So yeah, Imti's now going about transforming this one into being a little baby brother to our 123D ring tractor, or they call it the grey shark, some of my friends, because it's hunting down things that are far more expensive. So
I've rocked up there with the EK9. Obviously that's a born and bred track machine. It was awesome on the track, but one of the weak points on them are the clutch. The clutch has gone to heaven. I killed it. It's done. So obviously I was like, oh dear. But I was so surprised at how quick the 123D was around the track, and it was bullying things like, you know, these Clios and Megans, you know, which are quite a good track car, and some M3s were being hunted by Fowler here while I was sat in the passenger side. Great experience, and to be honest with you, on the way home, that's when I made my decision. You know what? I'm going to buy a 123D, and I think the very next day or the day after,
yeah, like
I purchased this one, guys. So this is a 123D. It's done only low miles. I think it's done 60 or 70,000. M Sport. But obviously we're just going to transform it. Now Fowler has spent ages building his track car, so the setup that he's got, he's been kind enough to sort of let us in on it because we're boys, and yeah, he's just made me spend some money, and there's more money to be spent yet, isn't there, Fowler? Yeah,
so this is kind of copy and paste from when we built ours. First thing you need to do when you take any car to make it track, but especially something that's just really built for doing school runs and shopping trips. The brakes on all BMWs are known as the weak point, so first stop we went for the brakes. So these are calipers off an F-Series M Sport, so 4-pot calipers compared to the single piston caliper you got on the E-Series cars, much bigger, just able to have run a larger disc, and there's a fantastic option of pads for track for that style caliper, because basically it's the same pad fitment as the BMW M4s. So yeah, loads of pads out there
braided
on the market.
Hoses.
While you're there, yeah, braided hoses, replace the old standard rubber hoses, so improves your brake pedal feel. Yeah, so while you're there, it makes sense to do that. And obviously brake fluid is a massive thing when you go on track. Obviously brakes, great friction, generate a lot of heat, and you don't be boiling your brake fluid, arriving at your fast corner, stamping on the brakes just for a spongy pedal. So yeah, calipers, lines, fluid, pads, and then we've got some great big grooved Brembo high carbon rotors to go on.
Fowler, let's talk about this suspension, because obviously people are probably staring at this like,
yeah, so
now I, guys, never even knew this company existed. This setup here is from a company called Gas Gold, who are actually quite big for performance suspension. Now, over to you, Fowler.
Yeah, so
he runs these on his 123D.
So I was recommended these by a good friend, Tom, who's got a Bmw race car. He runs these on his race car, and he really sang their praises. There's actually a BMW 1 Series entry-level motorsport series called the 116i Cup, and it's sponsored by Gaz. So they all the cars in the whole field are all running identical coilovers, all supplied by Gaz. They're the actual entry-level Gaz ones for that series. So this is the next step up. These are Gaz Golds. So yeah, these are fantastic.
Trust me, guys, the car, you know, you'd think a rear-wheel drive with like 280, 300 horsepower, the back end's going to come out. I was so shocked at how planted this 123D was. You will not budget it, and it was just taking everything, wrapping. It was just awesome, wrapping the bends, everything. It was excellent.
So these are built custom to spec. So you basically tell them what car you've got, how you're going to use it, and they assist you with checking, specing what spring rates you've got. So obviously we've got helper springs in there. We've got adjustable top mounts, so we can change the camber and caster. So yeah, you've got a dial there. I think it's like 24 different options for your dampening. So and you can obviously the same on the rear setup. So you can help dial in your car exactly how you want to whatever track you're on.
Now, one thing I do want to focus on, guys, which I was blown away by. Obviously, like I said, my friend here, he spent a long time trying to spec this, and he's running it and trialed stuff on his car. Now, when we were tuning it, I was able to, Fowler said to me he wants to keep it
reliable,
so you don't want to take it to a track maxed out on tuning. So when I was designing the file for this car, I didn't push it as much as I could. Telling you straight though, guys, this one I'm going to push it. So we're going to try and get at least 300 horsepower out of this one, and then obviously we will retune Fowler's as well.
If it don't blow up.
If it don't blow up, but it should be fine. The thing is, with a lot of people have said, oh, you're doing hybrid turbo. So these are twin turbo, guys. Where are the turbos? There we go. The twin turbo. There's not much point hybrid in these. The benefit is not great. You're not going to gain much more horsepower simply because of the design of the turbos. You're not really going to get much more, and the way the engine is designed, it can't really handle much more boost than this without uprating you know, conrods and internals and things like that. But one thing I am mesmerized by is this. When I was tuning it as well, the fueling on this car, or on Fowler's, was awesome. And I said, how is it that it's pushing so much more fuel? He's going to tell you why, because the standard stuff's not on it.
So on these, you've basically got a low pressure pump in your fuel tank that basically pumps fuel to the front, and the high pressure fuel pump on these is located just here underneath the inlet manifold. Now on the N47 engine, so the 4-cylinder ones, you get a single piston pump, and on a 6-cylinder you get a twin piston pump. So this is the fuel pump off a 6-cylinder, and you can see they've got the two pumping elements. On the standard 4-cylinder, basically that bit's missing. So by fitting the fuel pump off an M57, so ours is off a X5 40D, yep. You can basically, allows you to pump more fuel. So you need lots of pressure, but you also need the volume, and when you start remapping these past like a stage 1, the original pump can't supply enough fuel fast enough to keep the pressure up. So when we bought our car, our high pressure fuel pump was knackered, so it made sense while we were replacing it to upgrade it. So that's what we're going to be doing with IMTs. So there's a bit more involvement. It's not just a case of just simply bolting this on. You have to modify the fuel rails so you can have both pumps feeding the fuel rail.
So obviously, guys, if you just come a bit closer, I can show you. This is a 4-cylinder vehicle, so obviously it's only got 4 inlets going into the car. Now, because that's a 6-cylinder one, you also have to buy the 6-cylinder fuel rail. Now obviously Fowler, because he's in the engineering world, he's going to modify that and balance it and get it all cut down with the correct sensors and everything. So basically, essentially, we're going to have 2 inputs to this new fuel rail, so you're going to get double like fuel.
Yeah, so basically your high pressure pump that existing feeds up through this line here, and then you've got your common rail which feeds each of the 4 injectors. So when we're done, you'll still have this initial line, but there'll be a secondary one at the front of the fuel rail that helps deliver that extra fuel. Because as Imti says, the turbos on these are able to give us plenty of air, but you need fuel and air to get the power. So.
And I'd say 280, 290, 300 is a really, really good output for this engine, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's all aluminium engine, so as diesels go, it's really light. Yeah, aluminium block, aluminium head. So it sits right back in the engine bay. So another option you could do is just fit the 6-cylinder engine in.
They're too heavy, aren't they?
But the problem is, obviously, another 2 cylinders is more weight, and also it's more weight at the front of the engine bay, so it affects your handling and stuff. So we wanted to keep the 4-cylinder engine, but obviously increase its output. These new, they're a lot of money, but you can pick these up for about 150, 200 pounds. So it's not an expensive part to buy.
It was hard to find these.
Yeah, it's just making sure you get the correct one. But I've helped him see out with that. We're confident we've got the right one.
Yeah, we've got the right number.
Yeah, but this is basically run off a sprocket on your timing chain, so it's quite labour intensive to actually fit it. But thankfully, me and Imti know what we're doing, and these can do it ourselves.
You see, guys, this N47 engine, I know obviously you lot are thinking these guys are mad. You're saying, you know, they got timing chain issues. They have, but you know we do this all the time. We're going to uprate the timing chain with the uprated tensioner. This engine is slightly different to the normal N47 because this is a twin turbo as well. So once we've done the timing chain and everything, while we're there, we're going to check the clutch and flywheel. If it wants to be replaced, we're going to replace it. So it will be reliable when we take it on track, you'll see. Injectors, guys, they're good. The power on these are good. They can handle more fuel, more delivery. The piezo injectors are fine, aren't they?
Yeah, they're absolutely sound. So,
a couple of other things we are going to do, guys. Obviously, this car is just for the record, so all you keyboard guys who are out there giving me stick, we're going to take the EGR system is going to be completely removed from the vehicle.
DPF will
The DPF and CAT will come off, but this is only going to be used on track for race purposes only and for track purposes. So that will be removed. We will be having a straight pipe coming out. We are actually trying to design a straight exhaust.
Straight through exhaust, yeah.
Which obviously we're going to do.
It's another benefit. I mean, most people, when you say diesel track car, they kind of look at you a bit gone out or laugh at you. But with the M3s and stuff, people get to a track day and they've fitted, they've done the exhaust mod or whatever, and then they'll fail a noise test, and that's it. They won't even let you on the track.
And the diesel one.
With these diesels, there's the noise limits you've not got to worry about. So you could literally have it straight out the turbo, and you're going to pass every noise limit out there. Hopefully,
we're going to make sure that obviously anything that does usually fail on this engine, we're going to sort out. So a couple of other things, like I mentioned before, the DPF is going to be gone. There's going to be a straight pipe. The EGR system, the whole of it, let me see if this will let me spin it around. The EGR system, just hold it there for us, Father. This is the EGR cooler, obviously with the built-in valve and everything. We're going to get rid of all of that, guys. There's going to be nothing left. We're going to blank it all off, okay? We're also going to get rid of the dreaded swirl flaps in the inlet manifold. So we're going to do a swirl flap delete so they can't break off and cause catastrophic damage to the engine. So there's some stuff it hasn't arrived yet, guys. Obviously the world's gone mad at the moment with stuff arriving. You know, people are catching flights and the suitcases are going missing, and we're ordering parts and they're not coming. You know, it's madness right now. So we have ordered an intercooler for it, a big front mount intercooler, which is going to sit right inside there for better cooling. We're not going to do any induction kits or anything like that on these, because these all you need to do is probably an uprated panel filter.
Well, the airbox is the same as what's on like the 335Ds and stuff, and people are running like 450 brake out of them with the standard airbox and stuff. So
and to be honest with you, you know what? Induction kits, they're all right, but I'll be honest with you, I like things which are actually encased, you know, housed inside and closed.
Don't get a heat
I don't like atmospheric, you know, air get into it, because you get too much heat soak. Obviously on a track day, you don't really want to be doing that.
At the end of the day, it's a diesel. It's never going to sound like an M3. Right. But we just see it as like go-karting. Go-karting's great fun, but go-kart sounds shit. So it's basically go-karting on track days.
And it's different too, isn't it, guys? Look, I mean, I could take the R8 there. I think we're going to take that to Nürburgring in a few months, but that's not the point. You know, this is something different, and there's two of us. You know, the same thing, so it's different. Yeah, so it's a cheap way of doing it. Most people, they'll go either the MX-5 route, which are great handling little cars, but really a little bit underpowered. Or the Civics. People do Civics, don't they?
And the MX-5s rust and stuff, so I'm not a big fan of stuff that rusts. The other one is the Renault Clios or Renault Meganes. They're great out of the box. A few little mods on them. They're fantastic, and people go to town with them. See, people merge them as well. You can get the Clios with the Megane engine in them, and they're about 285 horsepower.
To be honest, I was quite impressed with them. They're quite good cars, aren't they?
But they're French, and I don't like French stuff. It breaks.
Touch.
And at Cadwell, we were up against one, and there was very little in it between us and a Clio with running a 285 horsepower.
Petrol, don't forget, guys. So you know that's meant to be a quicker car.
Plus, obviously, fuel at the minute really expensive. So these are you'll see the guys in the 140i's and 135i's. They'll be filling up. They'll get to a track day. They'll be filling up by 10, half 10. And we'll get to lunchtime, still have a quarter of a tank, go fill up when the track's closed for an hour, don't miss out on any track time, and then that'll last us all afternoon to the track day finishes. So yeah, A, you're not losing your track time, and B, it's just making it more cost effective to have just as much fun, really.
There's probably going to be a few episodes on this one. Obviously, we're going to try and cram as much as we can. We need to get tyres ordered.
Yep.
And yeah, just take it and see what happens. But no doubt we'll be doing more stuff to it, guys, so stay tuned. And yeah, like, share and subscribe, guys. Stay tuned.